Welcome to the Everything Actioncast, the official podcast of everythingaction.com.
Hello and welcome to the Everything Actioncast, the podcast for the week of June 5th, 2023. I'm your host, Zach.
I'm your co-host, Chris.
And we got a bunch of stuff this week. I saw Across the Spider-Verse, so I'll dive into that a little bit later on the show. But we got to kick things off with some trailers, and definitely have to kick things off with the first trailer for Expend4bles 4, aka Expend4bles, is what the title says. I don't know what they're going for because that makes no sense as like a pun or like as a word, but that's what the title is. Something we've been waiting to see and get more info about because the Expendables. I think especially Expendables 2 is basically like our website if you turn it into a movie. Like that's like it's like all of our like Mount Rushmore of action people in it, and like you see Stallone versus Van Damme, and Arnold has a way bigger role in it, and then Chuck Norris shows up, and Bruce Willis is in there, and yeah, two is like definitely the high watermark for the Expendables franchise. And then 3 was pretty disappointing. I mean, it was fine, but like being PG-13 and like all like they like put all the Expendables we like actually like cared about on the sidelines, and they got this like new group that no one cared about, which I guess is the whole point, because that was like a weird like someone was like, give me a bunch of kids if they get killed, I don't care about them. It's a suicide mission. That's what give me cannon fodder. Like,
yeah, I thought the point, but then I was more surprised that they survived. And then I mean,
Kelsey Grammer, give me cannon fodder, kids.
Like, right, at least in the first two, the second and third movie, the villain made sense. Like, it was more of a this villain gets their hand dirty villain.
Yes.
Compared to the first one where they just stood around and screamed a lot.
Yeah, there wasn't like a big like fist fight between like Eric Roberts and like Stallone. Stallone just like comes up and like I think he shoots them, and then like Statham like stabs him with that like giant CG knife.
Yeah, Stallone does a circle outline of bullets.
Yeah, he does like his like gunslinger like fast like fan the hammer like move. But yeah, two, and then like the Van Damme Stallone fight is awesome, and you also get Scott Adkins versus Jason Statham, which is awesome. I mean, yeah, 2, and then 3, Stallone versus Mel Gibson, pretty good. But yeah, all the like other like random. It was like they're trying to like appeal. It was like this weird like Fast and the Furious style, like where we need to appeal to like a global audience, so we need to get like soccer players and like MMA fighters and boxers that appeal to like South America and like Asia and stuff in here.
It's a lot going on.
Yeah. But we're back. Expendables 4 is coming. It's been almost 10 years since Expendables 3. Of the original team, we've got obviously Stallone's back as Barney Ross. Then we got Jason Statham, Dolph Lundgren, and Randy Couture. And then the new members or new like allies are Andy Garcia, Megan Fox, 50 Cent, Jacob Scipio, Tony Jaa, and Levi Tran. And then the new mission is Iko Uwe is like the leader of this like pirates, terrorist, arms dealing group, and he's like trying to hijack like nuclear weapons. So that's like the CIA hires the Expendables like try to stop him. And it's a weird trailer. We were talking about right before we started, Chris, but like especially the opening. The opening is like such a bizarre what is the tone of this? Like it has like
romantic comedy,
like erotic thriller, like text and like transitions of like, do you know who you, like it's like all is fair in love and war, whatever the text is, and it's like it's Jason Statham and Megan Fox are like a couple, and then they're having like this like a flirty fight, and then it's like, are they like is the plot gonna be like they like break up but they have to like forced to work together now or something, or like I
I first didn't think that they were a couple. I thought that it's
Yeah.
like, hey sis, or something, you know. And then it was just okay, no, they are more than friends.
Yeah. So that's one of the new dynamics, and then yeah, yeah, that whole like they spend like a minute of like the trailer just like this like with like yeah these weird like transition like 50 Shades of Grey style like transitions and like text, but then it finally gets into like kind of like Expendables style, more of what you expect from a Setos movie. Although the action, the only thing that like really was like, oh, this looks cool is like that Jason Statham Iko Uwe fight.
Yeah,
Like,
it was like the brief bridge thing that they got wherever they're fighting at.
yeah,
It does look cool.
I mean, it looks like Tony Jaa's maybe doing some cool stuff. I don't know. It didn't like it didn't get me as excited as I thought it would be. Like I was just like, oh, this is what this is. This is kind of not what I was expecting, but all right.
I just think they're just like, hey, it's a thing. This was filmed because it was like a fever dream that like Expendables 4. We're like, yeah. Like
Yeah.
10 years later, like okay.
Well, I think they did course correct. I think it is rated R again, and
Good.
yeah, and then they have Scott. I think it's Wow or Waugh. Like I'm not sure how you pronounce the last name. Waugh, but he directed Need for Speed and Act of Valor. So I mean, Act of Valor kind of like ties in Expendables. And then Need for Speed, like the action Need for Speed was all right. The plot was kind of weird and stupid, but the actual like car chase stuff in Need for Speed. But so like he's had some solid action credits before. So, but yeah, we'll see. September 22nd is when this is coming out. So, yeah, if nothing else, hopefully it's at least like better than 3. Because 3 was definitely like the like especially after 2, like it was like definitely like a disappointment after 2, and it just like all the weird like trying to like make it more like I don't know like more like mass appeal with like the rating and like all these like all the random like new people in it.
Yeah, I kind of forget what happened to those people. But I mean, before we get too far, what the hell happened to Terry Crews? Like he just
I feel is 50 Cent is 50 Cent the new like is he replacing Terry Crews? Because it seems like it. And then and then I think Jet Li's been done since like the first one. Like he kind of
no,
he's only had like cameos or like remember, I think it was what was it 2 where you're just like peace out and like jumped out of an airplane and we never saw him again for the entire rest of the movie.
Yeah, and then he came back in 3 as a brief cameo.
He and Harrison Ford were like flying around in a helicopter together. Or no, he and Arnold were flying around in a helicopter? Or yeah. Wesley Snipes didn't come back. I mean,
well, he went back to tax jail.
Yeah, Antonio Banderas was in 3. He's not back.
Oh, I thought he was in this thing.
I don't think so. I don't think he is. I mean, yeah. Then like Kelsey Grammer, like let's get him back.
I get not coming back. I understand.
I would like another scene of like him like just like it's like here's your new team like.
I mean, yeah, just for a brief thing, it can build the universe, but
yeah, it's also weird like 50 Cent like if you want to like you've had Scott Adkins, like why not get like Michael J. White like.
I don't know. I think it's also their relationship with Stallone.
Oh yeah,
because he still gets the final word.
Because yeah, I mean, 50 Cent was in all of like the Escape Plan movies, so I'm sure they've worked together a bunch. Yeah.
You have to work with him first in order to get into the expendable zone.
Was it
or
Batista,
you have to be notable?
Was it Batista in like the last 2? Like he should be in Expendables 4.
Yeah, Batista was doing most of the heavy lifting, and from what I heard.
Yeah.
So maybe he also doesn't put. I guess Batista doesn't want to be in like jock movie roles.
Schlock.
Schlock. I don't know. It's he just doesn't want to take his shirt off. I know that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's definitely. I mean, they've had like so many like people that you definitely would have like already like people that the like idea of like these like like 80s and 90s action stars. We like a bunch of them have been in this franchise, but there's definitely like a lot of other ones that could have shown up. What like Cynthia Rothrock?
I'm surprised, but I think because maybe she was in that Expendables knockoff. Stallone was like
the Asylums, the Asylums knockoff. Yeah.
Stallone knows that and just like, nah, no dice.
Yeah. But yeah, we'll see in September when Expendables 4 comes out. And we also got speaking of Stallone, and who is like taking over Paramount Plus with 2 shows. Taylor Sheridan also is taking over Paramount Plus, and we got the trailer for his new show, which is I think is like his like 12th show or something. Like I've lost count of how many shows he has on Paramount Plus, but his latest one's coming next month. It is Special Ops Lioness. I think it was just called Lioness before. Now it's Special Ops Lioness, which I don't know if that implies like they're gonna do like more Special Ops. It's like Special Ops something else for like.
Why is it called Special Ops though? Like, do they does it have to be franchisable?
Everything's gotta be franchisable. Like, but this is based on some. I don't know how, like, it's not like based on a true story, but like based on like an actual like military program that I don't know if this like the CIA or like it was like some sort of like military program where they were having like women like infiltrate terrorist cells and then take down like try to like get intel and like take them down from the inside. And so you have Zoe Saldana, who is like a member of the Linus Project, and then Lesla de Oliveira is another recruit, and then she gets in trouble, and then like Zoe Saldana has to like basically like go rogue or like kind of like like order like a Black Ops like drone strike / like extraction to get her out. And then Nicole Kidman and Morgan Freeman are the higher ups that like are running this program at the CIA.
Like Morgan Freeman looks like he wandered onto this set. Right? It doesn't look like he's in it for long. I think he's wearing all the same clothes in all the promos, just wearing that gray suit. And it's weird seeing him bald.
Yes. Mm-hmm. I bet he shot all the scenes in like one day or like a couple days. Like we're in this one like briefing room / like meeting room.
And then they just try to bang out as much scenes about like war room briefing as they can.
And like probably Nicole Kidman too.
Yes.
I feel like this feels like the closest to like it definitely has like a little bit of like Sicario vibes, which Taylor Sheridan wrote.
Oh, he did.
So I mean, I think he's like leaning into that a little bit more than like some of the other stuff he's been doing recently. I think he actually wrote both Sicario movies. He wrote Day of the Soldado too. But just like something like the action and stuff looks very like Sicario this, and then like kind of that same like like Black Ops kind of like infiltrate like this like criminal organization or like terrorist organization. But it looks solid. Like I've enjoyed most of like I mean I haven't seen Yellowstone, which is like clearly obviously his biggest show, but like all the other shows I've seen from him, like Rabbit Hole and Tulsa King, have been fun. So I'll definitely probably check this out, at least the first couple episodes of it. And it's going to be July 23rd on Paramount Plus, so you can check that out when it comes out. And we also got the first full trailer this week for Resident Evil Death Island, which is the new animated Resident Evil movie that is going to be sort of like it seems like it's going to be like the kind of like the Avengers of like these Resident Evil animated movies because like everyone's here. Like all your OG favorites are together for this one big like mission.
It looks cool. I wish this was a video game or portions of it. But
Yeah.
then these CGI movies have a like. Have you seen any of the other ones?
I've seen a bunch of like I kind of want to like rewatch them. I do know like some of them have like just like the action is like just like beyond absurd. Like it just takes it to like an insane level of like people like there's like guys like standing like 2-3 feet from each other shooting like machine guns. They're not hitting each other and stuff. And,
Yeah,
like,
I think there is this famous clip of like Chris and someone else like trying to like shoot each other, but they're all like circling around. They're doing like gun kata.
Yep. That's what I'm thinking of. Yeah.
So the one thing I what happens in most Resident Evil games is by the first like chapter is always the most intense, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the TV show sort of translate that for the first 10 minutes with like all the other non-main heroes. Because anyone that's on screen that isn't one of the main cast is just expendable.
I mean, that was like the most I mean, the whole thing was kind of disappointing. Like, Infant Darkness was kind of like disappointing overall. But like the fact that like the all that like White House stuff they hyped up, like, oh man, it's gonna be like zombies in the White House, and it's like
that was
that's
like
what,
what,
5 minutes.
5 minutes.
Yeah.
So like if they just slow it down and focus in on something, it would be good. The movies do a fine job of understanding the setting, but then they kind of crank up the action to like a different movie, like a different thing, and you're like, what is happening? I expect that from this.
I was saying like, well, they're all I mean they're all in canon. They're all like are like in like the game timeline and like all that stuff. So like I think this one when was Jill like brainwashed? Was that like
That was
5? So I think this is like either like post 5 or post 6 maybe.
Well, Jill somehow got to like her Resident Evil
3.
Yeah. So she went back. She regressed hard.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of wish there was.
Well, I mean, like, yeah, and like Claire's in her like normal, like her like typical like outfit too.
So there's a level of like, okay, I get that they want to make it all one unique universe, but there's got to be a level of like, what is going on? You're explaining too much or not enough, you know?
Yeah.
Especially when I think the third CGI movie is the one where a tyrant fights a tank. And it's like a very even match thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, it's always like you see clips of it online randomly.
Well,
it's next to the one with the gunfight.
Yeah. Well, this one has a zombie shark, so.
Yeah, again, I'm all for the zaniness. Like they just said, hey, the TV show didn't work out so well. Let's just kind of condense it into one like kick-ass sequences. It doesn't need to make sense. They just look cool.
And yeah, just throw everyone's favorites in there. Like it's Jill, Claire, Leon, Chris, and Rebecca are all together. Which there's been like different configurations of all of them in like the games, but I don't know if they've all been like together in one thing like ever.
Only 6 was Chris and Leon ever in the same game.
Yeah.
And even then, it wasn't.
And then Claire and Jill have never been in anything together.
No,
right?
yeah, they never did. Claire and Chris have been in Resident Evil Code Veronica.
Yeah.
Rebecca has not been with anyone since like the first game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean that's definitely the big selling point of this is like everyone's here. They're all teaming up. Yeah. The Avengers team up on Alcatraz to like take down this new like crazy scientist. I love that like the like Matrix shot at the end where everyone's flipping, like even like Claire's doing like crazy like Matrix flips over like it was like a tentacle or something, or like some sort of like creatures like attacking them. and it's just like all of them are just like doing like crazy like crazy Matrix shots.
In this, yeah, they're all doing their own bullet time with this tentacle, and it's
that
not even like the same dodge. They're all doing something wacky.
Yeah, but that's like the big like Avengers scene is like all them, they're all like shooting at this like monster or whatever it is, and like all like just like doing like these like dives over it, or like ducking under it, or like doing like flips over it, or like. But that's good. So that's gonna be July 25th is when that's coming out. So definitely I wonder where all the other like CG movies are streaming, if they're streaming anywhere.
I'm surprised they're not streaming everywhere.
Well, I think they're all Sony movies, right? Because Sony has like the like Resident Evil, like.
Yeah, but Sony doesn't have a streaming thing besides PlayStation.
Well, they usually sell them to Netflix. Is usually where they like end up. Because I mean, and that's like, I think it's why like Infinite Darkness was like a Netflix like series or whatever. Yeah, I think you can rent them like on like normal places like Apple TV or Amazon, but they're not really streaming anywhere.
That sucks. I feel people would be more hype about this if it was streaming.
Yeah, if
somewhere.
you could like watch them all and catch up and stuff, yeah. Although I don't know, I mean, hopefully they do some sort of like recap, like some sort of ridiculous recap, like. So remember when like Jill got brainwashed by like a scarab thing, and then we fought like, and then like I punched like a boulder, and then like.
Like, so this has to be after 5, and then.
Yeah.
Either
before 6 or after 6, and then definitely not getting into like 7, because Chris is definitely not like his like 7-8 model. Like. I mean, haircut wise, he's close to it, but like he's not like he's not like his like the whatever the blue umbrella like like I forget what his call sign was in like like Alpha Wolf or whatever, but like. But yeah, I'll definitely probably check this out when it comes out, just to like it's because and hopefully it's at least better than Infinite Darkness, because that was like such a disappointment of like they just dragged that out for like. That could have been like, it could have been like a hour-long thing, and it was just like 4 episodes where nothing happens.
Yeah, I only gave it 3-episode watch, and I just gave up on it.
But then but that was still at least better than the live action show.
Oh my god, yeah. Live action show, I gave it longer just to see how much of a train wreck it was.
And it was a train wreck.
Oh my god, it was. However, I still believe the best parts are Lance Reddick. He's the only reason to watch that.
I mean, he made everything he was in better. So.
Yep.
So last trailer this week is we got the first trailer for Sympathy for the Devil, which I think has been on our radar just because it's another crazy Nicolas Cage movie. And it's Nicolas Cage and Joel Kinnaman. And Joel Kinnaman is playing a guy who is like basically shows up at the hospital, like his wife is giving birth, and then he is hijacked by Nicolas Cage, who maybe is actually the devil or just like a psychotic person. We don't know.
I just think he's psychotic. I don't think he's an actual devil.
And then forces him it seems like it's very like Collateral, but like if like Tom Cruise is just like a raving lunatic.
So just regular 80s like Nick Cage.
Yes.
Collateral. However, this is blatantly Collateral. Like
yes.
It's all the concepts, and then out of nowhere it's like this weird other urgency about like a newborn or a pregnant wife. Like they put like a new MacGuffin, and it really doesn't add anything. It's not like they're going to the hospital or anything.
Because Joel Kim is not like an Uber driver or anything. Like it's not like he like got. It's like, oh, my fare that it like is like a crazy person. It's just like he just like Nicolas Cage just randomly chooses him at like the hospital. It's like you're driving me around or I'll kill you. Like.
And it wasn't even a cool car or something
No.
that can blend in. It's just like a Honda. Like at least if you drive something that a hitman will take and then say, okay, let me try to utilize what I'm in as cover, that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
It just seems like he hijacked some dude just to be some dude, but you went for Joe Kinnaman?
And then Nicolas Cage is just like completely unhinged in this movie. Like he's got crazy like Joker red hair, and he's just like screaming constantly, and like this looks like a pure like Cage rage performance. Like
I'll agree. 100% agree on how I think Nick Cage dressed himself.
I
He
think
showed up on
I
set
think
and was like, this is what I like to wear.
I think minus the hair, I think that's the same outfit he wears like that like Dead by Daylight. This is like what his character's gonna wear like Dead by Daylight.
Like a velour suit. Can you
Yeah.
imagine if this was actually a tie-in to Dead by Daylight? It's whatever he was in
You're,
Dead by Daylight.
that's like that's the like the killer like that you play as is like this like character from like the Face for the Devil. Like
Could be. If Fortnite can do wacky things like that, I can see other companies trying to get onto it, trying to be hip.
yeah. Yeah, I think
Also, I'm trying to figure out what town this takes place
it's
in.
Las Vegas.
Okay. Because it seems like, and I feel like I can spoil something just because I figured it out long enough. It's in the city for maybe a little bit of the movie, but I think the rest of the movie takes place at this like diner truck stop thing.
A lot of it seems like yeah, like because like the end of the trailer is like that like truck stop or whatever is like on like an inferno, like and they're like
Yeah.
they have like a
So
big like fight there. So
my guess is that that's the actual final climax, and it's more about morality and then talking Nick Cage out, but he realized that there is no escape. Like you have to fight this crazy Nick Cage. That's Joe Kinnaman's like, oh, like I can't reason my way out of this.
mhm. I definitely also like Nicolas Cage also seems like he's very much in like that like Deadfall like Eddie like okay what's his like character from Deadfall? It's Eddie something, but like that like that level of crazy of like
Yes. Oh, I thought this was gonna be a Deadfall 3, basically. Just he got a better nose.
yeah, like he's just like he's got that one line is like I want to be like 100% sex tonight. You cut it in half. I'm like 80% sex. Like,
Super weird and funny, but totally like that is the charm of a Nick Cage. And I like that he's not trying to be a normal guy. He is just an unhinged, crazy guy that he can just like act this way. And this is the most like memorable for us.
mhm.
However, like I still haven't seen the unbearable weight of talent, so I don't know if that's just like what he leans into, and it's like, yes, like this is my I need to embrace this.
He doesn't go as crazy like in that movie that we're seeing here. Like he's got a couple like like shouty bits in Unbearable Weight, but like he's mostly just playing like a slightly heightened version of himself. This is like pure unhinged Cage, which is like probably the main reason I would definitely be checking this out. And it's going to be in theaters and on demand on July 28th. So you can check that out either way when that comes out. Lots of stuff at the end of July is like seems like it's jam packed with stuff. Like pretty much almost everything we talked about except for like Expend4bles is like coming out like end of July. So moving on to some other news. We got some exciting news about a game that I think you and I are both big fans of, Chris.
Mortal
TMNT
Kombat?
Shredder's Revenge.
Oh,
Oh, what'd you say?
Mortal Kombat?
Oh, I mean, there was like gameplay. There's like Summer Game Fest was happening.
Yep.
They showed gameplay. It was very Mortal Kombat. Like
Yep.
it looks like the only new thing is like they have like that like tag thing or like it's like there's like Marvel vs. Capcom like tag characters you can like assistants you can like have
I don't
jump
know
in.
if those are all playable later on, or are they like only categorized as like taggable. So like they're only used as like counterattacks or
I thought
special.
I thought I read when like the first trailer came out that like they said like those support characters are only like support characters
Oh wow, they really are cutting down the roster then.
because they're focusing on like a certain roster, and then like yeah, like some of the other characters like are gonna be like just like support characters. There's also that weird like I don't know what like if it's like yeah is it because like, the first trailer seems like made it seem like it was like ancient times, but then
Yeah,
like Johnny
then
Cage
it's modern.
is like it is like his like modern like LA like mansion, so it's like is like is Liu Kang like time traveling to like gather people, or is it is like it's just like a weird like some parts are like it's modern day, but some parts are
Modern.
like some places are like feudal Japan, like
Yeah, some places are still farming their like grains, and then some parts are just Hollywood. Like it doesn't see. Well, technically, some places are the outworld, so maybe it's doing multi-dimensional because that's always a hot topic. Enter the combat verse.
mhm.
Yeah, but I saw the gameplay and I was like, okay, it's more of the same I like.
It looks I mean it looks like what they were like what they've been doing for like the last 3 games, which was very good. So
Yes. I just didn't know about the support characters. Like, there are only support characters. But that's it. Like, the story still, I still don't know what's going on. Shang Tsung's showing back up, doing something.
mhm.
And then, yeah, God Raiden. I think he just might be the most overpowered character.
Or you mean God Liu Kang?
God Liu Kang, yeah.
Cool, because Raiden's here, but he's just like a normal he's just a mortal dude now. But he still has electrical powers, I guess. Even though
I
he's
guess
just
he's
like a
just not a
mortal, like
god.
yeah.
It looks interesting.
Yeah.
The only problem is I never get Mortal Kombat the first year just because I always wait for
There's
the
yeah,
bug patches
yeah,
and the DLCs.
yeah. Everything's always bundled in together eventually. Which yeah,
Uh,
speaking of DLC, so
yeah,
yeah,
speaking of DLC, yeah.
the other game they were fans of is Shredder's Revenge, the last year's Ninja Turtles game, which is incredible. Um, and we got word this week that there's going to be a new DLC, Dimension Shell Shock, which is going to add like a new mode, and then more importantly, it's going to add Usagi Yojimbo as a playable character into the game, which is pretty awesome.
Yep. I
And
guess
like,
they got the license back to use him because I think like the licensing for him always floats around.
was it Stan Sakai doesn't own just like outright own
He
Usagi? Just
does, but then whenever time they want to use him, like they have to kind of go through him.
I feel is it? I mean, they did they like I feel like Eastman Laird like did some sort of like they like basically like they had some sort of deal back in the day, so and they're like friends, like or like they gave him like it was like we'll give you like a big like chunk of like what if we like do a crossover, like we'll give you like a huge chunk of like whatever revenue we get or something, or like they had some sort
Well,
of deal back in the day. Yeah,
I think that's the comic. I don't know if
yeah,
that translates to everything else once it because Eastman and Lair sold. I think Lair sold his shares, so he's just gone from the deal now.
yeah. I think Eastman still like is like a consultant, but it's like I mean Nickelodeon does everything now, so
Yeah, that's the thing. I think Nickelodeon is just sort of like okay, because I think the last Usagi thing was still the Netflix show, which I
yeah.
think is okay, but
Mhm.
I don't know if it's like been more popular than I thought it was.
And then also apparently other new characters, they haven't really said who else might should be showing up. But yeah, definitely Usagi Yojimbo, and then like also you can change like the color and like palette of like the turtles and everyone and like different other characters, so you can make them like get in different looks, like change their like the way they look this new DLC.
Yeah, I
I,
wonder if that just changes like the bandana.
it looked like you could do like you remember in like was it like Turtles in Time or like the arcade game where like they had like different like like there were different like they were like different like shades of green or like Donatello was like brownish almost. Like I think you can do that for like the new like this new like palette options and stuff.
I don't remember.
Yeah, one of the games definitely like made them like they were like very different colors. Like Raph was like light green, like Donatello was like basically like brown. I'm trying to think like who else could show up. I mean, they had like the frogs were in there. And I guess and you could make like at least like Genghis Frog or someone like playable.
Or you know what's funny? I think Genghis Frog was the only frog toy they had, right?
Well, there was a whole team of them, but yeah, I think he was the only one.
Because I just remember that. I remember just like having his figure in the Hawaiian shirt. I'm like,
Yeah.
aren't there more? And just like, it's like, okay, well, this will never be complete.
I think Mondo Gecko would be cool. Probably you could
Mondo Gecko, yeah.
have him play like Bart played in like the Simpson arcade game where he just like hits people with a skateboard.
Down for that.
Or like Future Toy maybe or something.
Future Toy is a scientist. I don't know.
Yeah.
I do hope that they get Venus de Milo.
Oh my god.
The new version is pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
If you've seen the story of how they reintroduced her.
Yeah.
But they also introduced like a new turtle in the comic that's a girl that wasn't Venus. But that's hard to explain in that universe. I guess it has to stick within the Nickelodeon verse or the 80s version. So you can't be like something too modern.
Yeah.
I don't know, you play as Kino. Just throw Kino in there.
Danny.
Yeah, Danny. Oh man.
Ray Fillet, there you go. I'm looking at like turtle characters.
I can't remember his toy.
He was like a manta ray.
Manta Ray, yeah.
Yeah.
I think he was in the fighting game.
I think in one of the versions, and then well, the fighting game had all the weird like Archie comics characters like Armagon and like Wingnut and stuff. Like Armagon's like that like shark.
Yep. Okay.
But yeah, there's a lot of other characters they throw in there. So definitely excited for like what else is gonna show up. I don't know. I don't think they mentioned if it's like paid DLC or if it's gonna be free.
I think it's paid.
You have to pay like a little bit, like
a little bit more, but I mean, it sucks if you recently just bought it full price and then they announced this. But,
yeah.
I mean, I bought mine during Black Friday, so it's like I can at least justify getting the DLC.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I did not know they were gonna have more. I thought this was like the complete. It's done. It's balanced. Because Streets of Rage did that, where I waited because I was like, I feel like they're gonna do a DLC to this. There's no way they're not. And Streets of Rage has like a lot of daily things, like daily challenges and like extreme modes and survival. So I don't think Shredder's Revenge has like that, right?
Well, I think this DLC
is gonna add it.
It's adding like a new mode, but yeah, they had it was like I think they had like story mode and they had like arcade mode. So
yeah, that's it. Like that's all you got.
Yeah.
So I mean, no offense to the game. I like the game. It was a fun experience, but once you beat it once or twice, unless you have like a group of friends that want to play through it again under certain conditions and like do the objectives, there wasn't a lot of replay after that. But it's like it's a good experience, So I get like come revisit again.
But yeah, hopefully we get more on that news on that soon. And then we got some news out of HBO. They have canceled Perry Mason after 2 seasons. Good. I'm a little disappointed just because like season 2 was like what we actually wanted it to be, like where it was like a full season of like Perry in court like dealing with like one case, which should have been like what they started with from the beginning, because like season 1 was so weird.
If they were gonna start with like his rough beginning as an investigator and all that, have it be short. Don't have it be the whole drawn out thing.
Yeah.
Oh my god! And then I just have blank spots because my brain refuses to remember certain parts.
Like, was it like the big trial, like only like the last 2 episodes of like season 1? like two or three episodes, and then the whole rest of it was just like
maybe not even the last two, just one maybe, because he gets sworn in and then he is rushed into being certified. Like I think he passes. I think he was missing something, and then he did his like quick exam, and then he's like, I think they bribed whatever to get him like extremely head of the certification board.
Yeah.
And then he did the trial, and then all he was able to do was to get like a mistrial, because I think the public already had an opinion, and if you can get a mistrial by just saying like, yeah, it's too biased. Like people are always going to think that, even if you have like the truth, like you're always going to think this. So you can't try that right now. And then they never solved it.
Yeah, season 2 was like such a huge step up from the first season. Like it was
like did it finish in a like at least it got 2 seasons?
Yeah.
Or
yeah, they wrapped up the case, so I think it's still definitely worth checking. Like, even though it's canceled, it doesn't end on a cliffhanger or anything. I mean, like it kind of does a little bit. Like it's like it's like setting up like possible like things that will be in the third season that'll never happen. But like the actual like main plot line gets resolved, so that's I think season 2 is definitely still worth checking out if because it's still wraps up and doesn't leave you like hanging on something that will never get wrapped up. And I think it kind of like thinking about like how it ended, like that could like that kind of work. It kind of works as like now it's like a series finale. I guess like it's like it's a decent series finale. Since that's the case now.
I guess if you want to see more Perry Mason, go watch the original.
Yeah, but yes,
I guess it could tie in.
So, I mean, season 2 was like more like the show, like the classic show where it's like it was like multiple episodes like in court for like long stretches and like them like arguing the case and like pulling out like like surprise evidence and like ambushing people and like getting them like to like confess on the stand and stuff. So it's definitely more of like what you would want from like a Perry Mason like courtroom show. So. But I guess the rating like season 1 apparently had like pretty good ratings, but then season 2 kind of like dropped down ratings wise. But then it was like more like critically acclaimed than like the first season, so it was like a weird like the ratio was off.
I get it. Critically, people probably saying, yeah, it's good, but the reviews were just saying like, hey, when's it gonna pick up? And it never did.
Well, I mean like like performance wise and like the look of it, like it looked incredible. The way they like recreate like 1930s Los Angeles was amazing, and then like everyone on the show was like fantastic. So yeah, a little disappointing, but also like not too surprising, just because like and it was also like a weird like Monday night HBO show, which is like who's watching HBO on Mondays? Like,
oh yeah, I forgot it was a Monday show.
Which I guess kind of like says what the HBO's confidence in it. Like they throw it on like their like prime Sunday night. It was like, Monday.
What was it competing against on other HBO shows?
I mean, there's nothing else on Mondays. It's like I'm sure it was probably just like some sort of like movie, and it was like whatever movie was on HBO before it, and then Perry Mason was on.
Yeah, but it wasn't competing against anything else, so that's why I'm more confused with why they moved it to such a like doomed slot.
I forget what there was another show that was like then that they kind of like put on Mondays and then it got canceled too. I can't remember what it was though. Raised by Wolves, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, but HBO's going through a whole bunch of wacky things.
Because they obviously like if it's like an actual like show they care about, it's on Sundays.
Yeah, it's the hype day for HBO.
Yeah. But yeah, R.I.P. Perry Mason. You can watch the original. You can watch the original show. And I think definitely season 2 is definitely still worth checking out if you have not seen it. If you only saw season 1, I would say season 2 worth checking out still, even though it's canceled. I'm trying to think if you could like jump right into season 2. I think you probably could. You might need to like look up just a couple things like what happened in season 1, but like I feel like you could like just jump into season 2, it would be fine. But anyway, last news this week is we got some news about a upcoming Apple movie. So they have a new movie called Mayday, which is gonna be an action adventure movie starring Ryan Reynolds and Kenneth Branagh. And it's from Jonathan Goldstein and John Francis Daley, who like brought us Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves this year. So they are directing this movie. There's no word on the plot. But based on the title, like Mayday, it sounds like maybe like some sort of like airplane, like maybe like disaster thriller or like something like because Mayday is like, oh, we need like rescue or something. So
It's pretty urgent. You don't
yeah,
just throw a Mayday out.
yeah. So but we don't know. Like they haven't said what the plot is yet. And apparently also the script was written before the writer's strike, so they can, if they wanted to, they could start like work like shooting this and going off the script. Although I think Ryan Reynolds is shooting Deadpool 3 now or like soon, so this is probably going to be a little ways off. And it will be a Apple, like it will be an Apple TV Plus. I think also like Skydance is helping produce it. And it's gonna be another big because like Ryan Reynolds also already did Spirited with Apple TV Plus, so. But yeah, very very early. We don't really know, but that's coming up sometime in the near future here. So that's it for news this week. So why don't you jump into show and tell? And Chris, what have you been watching over the last week or so here?
So I treated myself with a Rewind series to go back to, and I wanted to finally see the last two Pirates of the Caribbean movies because I just have never seen them.
So it's
So I saw On Stranger Tide and
yeah. I'm trying to remember this like On Stranger Tides. I forgot what the title was. I know Dead Men Tell No Tales. I remembered, but I couldn't remember what the title of the other one.
Yeah, I still don't know why they call it On Stranger Tides.
I think it's based on a book, like a totally unrelated. They bought the rights to a book.
Unrelated Pirates of the Caribbean like thing,
yeah,
and then they just bought it because I think at the end they show that credit where it's like how like The Specialists
yes
is based on a novel, but they only took like one or two things, so they can't credit it as inspired.
That was like I can't remember what was that. They talked about how it's made, like the credit that like The Specialist has, like based on concepts or something.
But it's like you can't. It's not if it's way less than that. So you have to call it something else. Like it's something really weird. And you're like, what? So yeah, this is based on something that isn't Pirates of the Caribbean related, and then they force it to be Pirates of the Caribbean related, and you feel it in this movie.
Well, it also that On Stranger Tides, the book, also inspired Monkey Island.
Wow. I think the one they had was like it's a Blackbeard story. I think that's all they had. And maybe the concept of like a woman tricking Blackbeard, but then actually being like the daughter.
Well, it was about the fun of youth. So that was the concept they took from the book, and yeah, it had like Blackbeard and like other real pirates in it. But that's pretty much it.
From the book. The rest is just Let's just add Jack Sparrow on here for no reason. But yeah, the movie feels okay. It's not the best Pirates movie in that like lineup. It definitely feels like Ian McShane would have been great if we understood his character more. He just sort of shows up and just says things, and he's supposed to be like this supposed to be feared mystical pirate that is somehow worse than Davy Jones. But
yeah,
he only has magic with his sword and his ship. So it's not like he's super invincible. He can teleport. He's bound by like a sea rule. It's just like I don't know. Like he's still vulnerable.
And he can like capture ships and put them in bottles.
Yeah, they don't even show that. You know, it's like, oh, he does that. Like how? I don't know. Like it's okay. Sea magic? Oh, I guess. Uh, but then like in the the fifth movie, Dead Man's Chest. Back to basics. Actually, like a better movie, better than I
But
thought.
you mean Dead Man Tell Tales?
Dead Man Telltale. Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, my God, so
Yeah,
many dead things.
Dead Man Tell Tales is like so much better than Stranger Tides.
And it's like I get what they're trying to do. They're trying to set like, okay. So before I get to that, but in Stranger Tides, I'm like because I watch this back to back, it blends for certain parts. The part that like stood out that I was like, where's this plot going? Is the if you remember it's about like the preacher and the mermaid girlfriend he makes.
Yeah, they like capture a mermaid and then force her to like because they need like
Cry.
tears
They
or
need a
something.
tear. Yeah,
Yeah.
they need a fresh tear because it doesn't last long.
Yeah.
And then that opens up a portal that you need with two goblets. That was like the MacGuffin for that was solved so goddamn quick.
Yeah.
It was
I think the main issue, like one of the main issues with like Stranger Tides is just like yeah, like that like missionary guy and the mermaid are just so fucking boring.
yes, yes. I guess they're trying to do like a Kindle romance, but he was like I couldn't tell. And this is the dark theory that I'm like trying to I was trying to figure out. Like he was trying to be religious about this whole thing. He's just like, hey, like I don't want to betray my beliefs, blah blah blah. I'm a man of God. But then like he falls in love with a mermaid and he kind of like gives up his vows. And he's like, I want to be with her. Like this is what my mission is. Like be with this mermaid chick.
Mm-hmm.
Because mermaids are real now, and everything I knew about religion is like still it's been shaken, but he didn't waver because even at the end where he's dying and he's just like, hey, like uh I still want to die the way I am, like happy with you. And then I maybe I'm reading into this too much, but she pulls him into the water and we never hear of him again.
Well, I mean that was like I remember definitely remember like the one kind of cool scene was like when they first encounter the mermaids and they're like just like leaping out the like jumping out the water and like killing
Yeah,
everybody.
that part was cool. That part was cool. But then it shows you that like these mermaids aren't just like it's an illusion, like yeah, they look pretty, but when they go mean, like this is what their angry face looks like, and then it's like, whoa, like
Yeah.
So I couldn't figure out this guy's angle where he's the only guy to fall in love with this mermaid to the point where he's willing to just give up everything. I'm pretty sure other people have, right? But he has to recognize that's not a good plan. Uh, so yeah, he just kind of like 180s his character for this mermaid, and then he just gets dragged to the abyss with her. She takes him someplace supposedly, but in my head, it just seems like she's kind of killing him or sort of like sending him to the watery afterlife or something. They never explain it. Like,
Yeah.
if I googled it a couple times. I try to see someone to justify it, and they're just like, that just happened, and don't worry about it. Like, all right, maybe the fifth movie will address it, and it doesn't. So that kind of pissed me off that they introduce this weird concept and weird, like underwater life thing. Besides, like Davy Jones, like mermaids are real now. And then I do like that Johnny Depp's not even like shooken about this. Like Jack Sparrow's just like, all right, that happened. Anyway, on to the next thing. Like he's very nonchalant about his journey up until this point. I get like other characters who are new and have never experienced something so fantastical, but this is just like an everyday for him apparently, right? Because it doesn't seem like after World's End, anything that isn't uh kind of in that realm seems a little like a backstep.
Mm-hmm.
Even Blackbeard, like he's supposed to be feared and all that, but his power is still nowhere near as mystical as Davy Jones is. So I was like, I still don't understand why they dragged him along. Why he's like just being part of this. I guess well, like Giant hitting that Jack Sparrow wanted to live forever. But that wasn't his goal. Like, his goal wasn't to live forever if the cost was too great. But I think he realized that.
Yeah.
But they didn't want anyone else to, like, do the cost. I don't know. It's a very mishmash, like, message. But then, uh, Dead Man Tell No Tales, back to basics, feels just like this is the proper sequel to the trilogy. Like, the stakes are equally high as Davy Jones. You fight against something that is way more like myth than man.
Yeah, like
You have like a crazy stake that involves like travel and piracy and lying. I mean, there was a little bit of lying in Stranger Tides, but I feel like because it was forced to be that way, it feels weird. But in 5, it makes sense where there is like a sort of betrayal, but then sort of not, and everyone's using each other to kind of get to the same goal.
Mhm.
The only part that comes out of left field is Barbossa's daughter.
Yeah.
Yes, wham, Barbossa's daughter. Like, huh? What? I guess.
Will and Elizabeth's son and Barbossa's daughter.
Yeah. So, but they all seem to be. That means they're all within the same age. Because Will's son and Barbossa's daughter are, let's just say, the same age, right?
Yeah.
So does that mean
That's
Barbossa had a younger he had to be young to have that kid in order for the kid to be, I don't know, maybe 12 years younger than him?
wasn't he like a zombie for like like hundreds of years or however many, or like it's been like however many years it's been since he was a zombie, like
Yeah,
decades.
questionable
Like
decades. I guess zombies can age. I guess because during the day they're normal humans, but only at night is when they're cursed.
yeah.
But then I don't think that means anything about aging because they still can't die during the day. I don't know. Like, I try not to think too much about it. But then it was actually not bad to kind of clear the mythical things. Is at the end of 5, they break all the sea curses, so anything that was bewitched or some
Yeah.
weird myth
Mhm.
or something is just gone.
And that was a cool, like the ending of on like Devin Telltales was pretty cool, where like they're like on the bottom of the ocean and it's just like that, like they like it's like you push like the like it's like that barrier that like keeps like the like, so like they're like that like bubble like under the ocean.
Yep, I thought
That
that
was
was.
that was a cool, that was like a cool like finale set piece.
Yep, and like I said, this is what 4. I mean, yeah, 4 should have been, and it feels like a very complete story between 1, 2, 3, 4. 5 is just this weird black sheep. I think. I mean, four just becomes this weird black sheep
Yeah,
where,
this weird side story has nothing to do with
yeah,
anything.
I think it's only worth seeing so you understand where Barbarossa was. You understand some of the crew because
Mhm.
like a handful of the crew from 4 show up in 5. But I think 4 had the crazier crew. I think because everyone's betraying each other every half an hour, it's a funnier like setup to understand what their wacky crew is. But by 5, here's the crew. I hope you paid attention during 4. We're not gonna explain anyone. Just keep going.
Mhm.
Like you know what I mean. Like you're missing certain key crew members that make it funny. Like I feel like I don't know. I feel Jack Sparrow does well with like he's the funny man and he like a straight man. So that's why I think 5 is better because the son of Will Turner is the straight man. He's just like, I'm serious, I've got a plan, blah blah blah, and Jack Sparrow's just sort of winging it. Which again, what worked about the first 3 movies. And then 4 just has unhinged Jack Sparrow. Like no one is helping him or giving him straight answers. So he has to talk to himself. Like if you watch it's like what other characters would say to either punch up the joke or even I don't know, like yell at Jack just doesn't exist until Barbossa, which is like at the near the end of the movie, because that's when Barbossa and Jack team up. But in this movie, they team up, I think, a lot earlier. So then it's like it's sort of now you have the dynamics change, and it's why it's like it's a better like I guess like comedy and then story.
Mm-hmm.
But I finally saw it, and I was like, I get it. I get why like the series sort of wasn't what it used to be. But it's like close enough. And in terms of finishing out the story, it was good. I don't know if they need to make more. I know they're trying to. They were trying to like do other things, but I think at this point, like piracy is like this. It's like almost over, right? Like it's sort of like 17. No, wait, it's like
I think it's
18.
like 1751 or something is like when it's taking
Yeah,
place. So
I think piracy ends like 70, 80. The age of piracy is not that long. People thought it was
yeah,
like this long, long thing, but it's like no. The ones where like Treasure Island, all that comes from, it comes from like just 30 years. I mean, there was earlier piracy than that, but in the terms of the Indian trade, and then just just sort of like settling the Caribbean and then making trade routes, like not that it's a crazy 30 years, but like that's I'm like how many more before Jack is gonna eventually just like run out of luck,
mm-hmm.
or is he, or they're gonna do something like Dracula Untold, where basically he goes back to the Fountain of Youth, and then he's just a modern day bootlegger pirate, just downloading movies and drinking rum. Like, wouldn't it be weird if like Disney just went, okay, how about this, guys? Get ready, modern day Pirates Caribbean. It's like the next generation Jack Sparrow.
It's like modern day.
Yeah, and it's just like Pirates of the Caribbean, and it's just like okay, but it's like Pirate Bay of the Caribbean. It's just like a torrent site. I'm surprised no one's done that. Like no one's done modern day piracy.
I mean, like Uncharted is kind of like Nathan Drake is kind of a pirate, like we're like a treasure hunter, but like, well,
Yeah, Treasure Hunter, but
especially like Uncharted 4 was definitely like leading like really into like Pirates of the Caribbean pirate stuff because like that whole like, I mean half that game takes place in, like it's like the pirate island or whatever it is like
oh yeah, when all the pirates teamed up and made that.
yeah
I wouldn't mind if you basically did a ancestor of Jack Sparrow has to then find the last treasure hunt of Jack Sparrow, of like OG Jack Sparrow.
hmm
I think that'd be funny. In a video game, they would have done that. It would have been an Assassin's Creed type game.
well I think
But
isn't that like Margot Robbie one dead or are they still yeah I think
I don't
that was not
know.
happening anymore.
I think that went back to the drawing board because Disney just hemorrhaged so much money over the last 2 years that they just can't afford to risk anything. But I heard the like Little Mermaid movie's surviving. It's a scrappy movie that's somehow earning a lot of money. But I still think that this. I mean, okay, here's a bold statement. I still think On Stranger Tides is a better Little Mermaid story than the new Little Mermaid.
Uh-huh. We're definitely going to see how the new Haunted Mansion does. Like if that does really well, then I'm like Disney's probably gonna be like, all right, we're doing the rides again. Like we're getting all the
I
ride
thought they
movies
did
right.
that with Jungle Cruise because that made more money than people thought.
I think that did pretty well. Yeah, that's probably why they made Haunted Mansion. And then are we getting like Tower of Terror, like
Another one?
Scarlett Johansson's like starring in like a Tower of Terror movie or something?
I always forget that's another one. I always thought that was like something we joked about.
It's either Tower of Terror or like some other like ride. It was like the other it was like Haunted Mansion and then like yeah this other movie.
Space Mountain, probably.
I don't know if they were talking about a Space Mountain movie. I mean, I'm surprised they haven't.
Well, there was that. I know you didn't see Disney during this time, but do you remember when FedEx sponsored Space Mountain? So Space Mountain became a FedEx thing.
Oh, jeez.
Do you remember this?
No, I don't.
Yeah, I don't think they did a promo. So in Space Mountain during like 1996 through 2002 or less, FedEx sponsored Space Mountain,
hmm
like both locations. And it had like a Mario Lopez like promo inside of the ride queue that was like, hey, like welcome to Space Mountain. We're gonna show you the interdimensional travels of like carrier service, like package carrier service through like Space Mountain using like the FedEx Express like spaceships and shit like that. So yeah, there was like a sort of a story that you were like carriers and you had to travel. And so the plot of Space Mountain was that you're traveling through like you're doing like a Kessel Run, and it's like oh yeah, and you delivered a package, and then when you get off the ride, it's just like hey, like thanks for the delivery. So yeah, that was like oh that could be a plot I guess.
Yeah, so it is Tower Terror. Like that's gonna be like another. They're Scarlett Johansson is gonna star in that. Let's never forget the 1997 Steve Guttenberg version.
Yep. Which, if you think about it, since this was based on a Twilight Zone episode that didn't exist,
Yeah.
and they didn't make it like a real Twilight Zone episode, they just sort of made its own ghost story.
Yeah, they didn't have anything Twilight Zone related. It was just like, yeah, there's ghosts in this weird hotel that Steve
I just
Guttenberg bought, or like
think he bought it or he got invited. I don't know.
he
I
got
don't
invited to
remember.
like he got invited to like was he like a TV like was he like a news person or something, or like a like some sort of like TV host or something?
I didn't think he had a job. I thought he was just like a bum.
He hires the janitor for the hotel that doesn't is closed. I wonder if someone put that on YouTube in full.
Is that not on Disney Plus?
I don't think it is, because that was like a Wonderful World of Disney. There might be like some sort of weird. I mean, even though it was like ABC, like they own ABC. Like I don't. There might be some weird like licensing thing where it's just like
You have to buy it from Steven
it.
Gutenberg.
It's like the TV right. You don't have the TV rights to it. Like it has TV rights, not movie rights or something. I don't know.
You know, another studio might have made it, and Disney just could have been the producer. Even though it's like in a Disney park.
Yeah.
Like location wise, it's like filmed at like the Tower Tower locations.
But yeah. But have you seen anything else, Chris? Besides Pirates?
I like marathon watch The Good Place. I think I'm on season 3.
Okay. How many are there? Was it 4
4.
seasons? Yeah.
I thought it was longer. I thought it was way longer than it is, but
Well,
it's only 4 years.
I think they like explicitly were like, yeah, we're gonna end. We're like picking an end date. We're gonna end it. Like,
I mean, that's good because I feel like they could do longer and really drag it out, but I think it's better that it is like a complete story. I didn't even said like, hey, like we could have done another season or 2, but it wouldn't make sense. The characters had like already are complete. If anything, they could just like do another show that's based in the same concept or the universe, but it doesn't have to be the same cast.
mm-hmm.
But you know, I don't think they're gonna do that because I think The Good Place was one of those surprise hits the first season, and then like I just understand the hype now, and I'm like, oh man, I really missed the boat on this one, but I'm glad. I'm glad the internet didn't spoil the shit out of it, or at least I avoided everything that was trying to like explain everything.
Yeah.
And you watched the whole thing, right?
Yeah, I was watching it as it was airing. So.
Hmm. And then, oh, speaking of a show that I missed the boat on, and I'm like, oh wow, this is actually better than I thought. I'm on like the 4th episode of rewatching The Tick
Oh, like the
on
Fox
Amazon.
animated show?
No, no,
Oh,
no, the live action.
like the new one,
Yeah.
like the Peter Serafinowicz one.
Yep. Yeah, I didn't watch it like when it was coming out. I watched like a little bit, but I'm like rewatching it again,
It only lasted the one season, right?
I think 2.
2? Oh yeah, it did 2 episodes. Yeah.
There's 2 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't.
I just remember
Yeah.
it was like that weird. They had that weird like They don't do it anymore, but like Prime Video used to do that pilot season where it's like, hey, watch all three, like watch these new shows and like tell us which one you like best, and then we'll like maybe we'll make whatever one you guys choose, we'll make it or whatever. And then I think they made all of them. Cause I think it was,
they're like, JK, we're making these anyway.
Because I think it was the Tick and like
JCVD, and then that other one with
the Catherine Hahn.
Bacon.
Yeah.
I forgot what that plot was.
It was I Love Dick.
And her husband. Yeah, just her trying to cheat. But yeah, did you watch The Tick?
I watched the first episode for that pilot season thing or they're doing, and I didn't like.
Okay, so like, I would say give it a watch now between the downtime of The Boys, because take the same concept of The Boys but tone down the violence. It's like perfectly like where I could see how they couldn't have this and The Boys at the same time. Because there's like a very like similar tone and aesthetic to it. It's in a world where like there are superheroes. They're not as frequent anymore because of like this big incident that happened. And so like the violence is actually surprising. Like you don't think it's gonna be as violent, but when it happens, it sort of just like explodes because it's like, oh, like we're just gonna rough you up, blah blah blah, and then just like, oh no, like only the Tick is like playful, like oh, he doesn't kill. But then you get like other characters who have no problem killing. You're like, wait, what? So when it happens, it's jarring. I said give it like the first 2 episodes. Actually, no, beyond the pilot, because I think if you've seen the pilot, like you don't need to see it again. But you know what's funny is I think the first or second episode after the pilot, they play with a concept that the Tick might not be real. Like you think it's all in his head. It's supposed to be this like, like is Arthur crazy? Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Is the Tick like his imagination? And then it's like, the hell are you talking about? Like, no, he's real. It's just like conveniently like all the things that are happening with no witnesses and what's going on and no one can confirm anything. Like they just like there's this like pause and then you're like, and then they play like Where's My Mind? You know, the Pixie song.
Oh, yep.
So it's another like, oh no, like you were the Tick all along. Like they really build up to the swell of that, and then it's like record scratch. Like the hell are you talking about? He's right there. Like after that point, the show sold me. I was like, I get it. Okay, cool. I'm all for it now.
Yeah, I think at the time I was like, well, I have to watch Jean-Claude Van Johnson. Like,
no, I get it. But yeah, I say the Tick, now's the good time to watch the Tick while we're waiting for The Boys to queue up and stuff. But I could see you cannot like have both shows on the same network. They are super similar. They're just like the Tick doesn't have like the gratuitous nudity or sex. The violence is far and few, but when you see it, you're just like, oh shit, like that guy's dead. Did not expect that. And there's this like level of realism that makes sense about like what's going on. You know, it's not like, oh, I'm a superhero. They're like, show me. Like, you just can't wear a costume and call yourself a superhero. Like, what can you do? You know, The Boys sort of does that, where they're superpowered people and all that, but there could just be regular people that have superpowers that just don't talk about it. But in this, it's like, oh, I used to be a superhero, but like there's no money in it, so I'm doing this. So I think again, just to see it, and the performances are pretty good. If you took certain shots from this and just said, "Is this The Boys with the Tick?" You're like, I don't know. So like that's how like decent the work is. But that's just Amazon secretly putting the money in the right places. But it's a shame they only got 2 seasons. But I understand, like, not everyone understood the superhero hype. But I feel like if the Tick came out after The Boys, like after the complete story of The Boys is over, and maybe some time has passed, and they did the Tick, people would understand about anti-superhero stuff, like making fun of superhero like shows and concepts. I think that's what the Tick was. It was like a parody of all these like crazy superhero things,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
but it was like tongue in cheek enough that it could sort of fit into the things. And I think in this version, they play around the concept that the Tick is sort of like this ambivalent, like not a god, but just like he's some sort of force in nature. They didn't explain it yet, but in the comic, I think he's just like some mental institute guy who breaks out and then sort of is just like super strong and is super powered, but he's sort of like a crazy person.
I mean, he's basically like invincible. Like, it's like nothing. Like, basically nothing can stop him. Like,
Right, but he doesn't remember who he was. Like that's like
yeah.
I think in the comic he was just like a mental like patient who escaped and then fell into his persona, and he just believed his persona. So there's no backstory. There's just the Tick. But I think in this show, it's even crazier. Like they sort of hint that he might have been a it might have been a like entity that took shape and became the Tick. Like I haven't gotten that far yet to understand that, but they sort of play around the concept. And I think it's fine. Like you really don't need to know the Tick's background. Just know that he's here. I mean, that's enough for me. That's what I've been watching. What about you, Zach?
So speaking of superhero stuff, I saw Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse along with like pretty much everyone because it made a ton of money this past weekend. And yeah, I mean Into the Spider-Verse. I mean, one of the best anime movies of all time, like one of the best Spider-Man movies, and somehow Across the Spider-Verse just like takes everything the first movie did and just like amps it up to even like more like bigger, better levels. Um, and yeah, it's amazing. It's incredible. Um, and yeah, like animation wise, I mean, this movie is just like it's like what they do with like all different styles. Like it's like each different scenes have different styles of animation and like or like the different dimensions have different like styles. Like it actually starts out in like Spider Gwen's world, and it's all just like like watercolors and like these like pastels, and it's like totally different style than anything you saw in like Into the Spider Verse. And then yeah, and then you go back to like Miles universe, and it's like the Into the Spider Verse style. Um, but then once they get to like once you get into like like all the like the headquarters of, like the Spider Society where everyone is, like then it gets like totally insane and crazy where like there's like so many different like animation styles mixed together, like all the like background Easter egg Spider-Men have like they retain their like whatever style, like whatever, like if they're from like a cartoon, then they have like they look like they're from like that cartoon, or like it's like they're from a game, they look like they're from that game. So it's like all these crazy like different like disparate styles like mixed together on screen at the same time, but it all somehow works together, and it's amazing. But it basically it's like a year after into the Spider Verse, and then Miles is like he's kind of settled into like the typical like Spider-Man lifestyle where it's like he is kind of like his schoolwork is kind of like falling behind. He's like kind of like he's like getting a little like distance from his parents because like he has to be like he's being Spider-Man, but he can't tell them what he's doing. But like he's like he's like missing classes and like because he has to like go fight supervillains and stuff. So he's definitely in like that like that typical like Spider-Man, like trying to like figure out if he can balance
Dual
everything.
identity.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then uh he faces off with the Spot, who's voiced by Jason Schwartzman, and they do like a really interesting thing with the Spot where like he starts out as like this like kind of like like total like goofball like ridiculous villain character that you don't take seriously at all, but then like kind of like as the movie goes on, like he becomes more and more of like an actual threat. he discovers something that threatens the multiverse. So then that's why all the this other Spider-Man get involved. And you have Spider-Man 2099, Miguel O'Hara, who's like the leader of he basically created like this whole like they're kind of like the TVA from Loki, where because you find out that from Into the Spider-Verse, even though they stopped the collider from going off, it still kind of left a hole and there's a hole ripped open in the multiverse still. So there's been there's villains and other characters, people ending up in the wrong universes. So Miguel O'Hara has assembled this team of all the Spider-Men to go and capture all these villains that show up in the wrong place and then send them back to where it came from, or keep things that are supposed to happen from and make sure they happen. Because they introduce this idea of canon events where there's certain things that every Spider-Man has to deal with, and they have to happen, or else it threatens that universe's stability. So it's this canon event's happening. We have to make sure this happens. And it's
they have to keep killing Uncle Ben over and over.
Yeah, that's a canon event. Everyone has to deal with that at one point, or you have to deal with there's other things that are canon events that every Spider-Man has to experience them and deal with them at certain points, or else that totally screws up the fate of that universe. So it's really cool, interesting, taking these beats that we know everyone knows from every Spider-Man story and making them into this actual mythology overarching idea of the multiverse, where it's these fixed events. But then there's a fixed event that pops up that Miles is oh, I can't, I have to stop this, and they're no, you can't stop it, and then that's what that's kind of puts him at odds with all the with the Miguel.
Yeah, once you kind of reveal the secret behind the curtain, it's hard to go back.
But it's just action wise, it's incredible. There's so much, just every action scene has just so much stuff going on in the background, so much the attention to detail. And all the Easter eggs in the background. They're this is a movie where you need to get it at home and pause it and just look in the background to see everyone who's in the background. And there's so many, there's the deepest of deep cuts that are how is this even in here? Just for example, just one is Spider-Man Unlimited is in here, prominently in the background. No one likes that. It's no one cares. We remember that, but it's just such a weird. It was so short-lived and terrible.
Know who the hell that is?
Yeah. And all the voice cast is great. Shamik Moore is great as Miles again, and then Haley Steinfeld is great as Gwen. Oscar Isaac is super intense as Miguel. Just super serious and intense. I'm definitely curious to see where they take that character in the next movie, because he's definitely an antagonist in this one. He's very intense and very we have my way is the right way, and we have to do this or else the multiverse is will be destroyed.
Well, I imagine they're sort of setting up a Fast and Furious thing where it's we're family now.
Yeah,
family.
I hope there's a turn where he kind of realizes that maybe this isn't the right way to do things, and then become he'll get a true, he'll be back to his normal heroic self, or kind of the more heroic Spider-Man 29 we know. And then also Daniel Kaluuya is awesome as Hobie Brown, aka Spider-Punk. And the way they animate him is just he looks like a 70s UK punk rock poster come to life. He's all just like newspaper text, kind of black and white, it's think like a Sex Pistols album cover. That's how he looks animation wise. And then there's a great Ben Ben Reilly. Andy Samberg plays Ben Reilly.
Yeah, I did like how
and like he does such a, like he does like such a great like he's just like this like dim-witted brooding just like, oh, I gotta sit here and pose. Like,
yeah, he's definitely like trying to be edgy.
yes.
I saw that clip and I was like, okay, I appreciate that.
Hmm. And then yeah, and just tons of other just like like Insomniac Spider-Man is in the background, and then like super obscure other like Spider-Man who've only been Spider-Man like one comic or something, or like Spider Rex the dinosaur was Spider-Man, or like and then like there's like live action stuff that shows up, um like in different like either like clips from like other like live action stuff or like actual like characters showing up. And yeah, I mean it's there's just it's so much, there's so much going on in this movie.
We'll talk about it when I try to see it at some point.
Yeah, I would say definitely see it as soon as you can, because like yeah, it is so like yeah, there's so much in there. It's like the animation is so incredible. It's I mean the first movie was like a level under Spider-Man. This is like even more so. Like if you're a Spider-Man fan, like there's gonna be just so much to look at, and like like just like try to like see who's like who shows up, or like try remembering the thing that like, oh, like it's that guy from that comic, or like, and it's like it's so much love for the actual comics too, because like it will like do that thing where it just like drops the comic book like when they introduce like Miguel, they literally just drop like the first issue of Spider-Man 29 like on the screen. It's like, here, this is where it came from. Like, which I have like, it's like literally hanging on my wall right now. It's like Spider-Man 29 issue 1, and like that they just dropped that comic. Like it's like, here you go, we're gonna flip through this and like show you like Miguel's origin or whatever. So
It's a little different around, right? Like it's sort of a
they don't go full into it. Like maybe in the next one they'll like dig into a little bit more, but like they kind of like hint at some of the stuff. Like he injects himself with like, which I'm assuming it's like that. Like remember he was addicted to like that drug like Rapture or whatever, that, and he had like keep injecting himself with it. So you see him like injecting himself with something in this movie, and then he also has like he does like a quick flash of like his like vampire fangs, which then they're like kind of like goes away, but they don't really like so I feel like if you're like a casual fan, you're just like, wait, he's a vampire? Like,
yeah, it's like after the first comic. I don't think he didn't have that problem in the first issue, or did he?
well, he was like, his like DNA got like totally like spliced with like some sort of like with like spider DNA, and then that like he didn't get like spider sense or like some of the other like Spider-Man powers, but he got like, yeah, he got like fangs, and he got like this like he got some other like weird abilities. But yeah, I mean he's got his claws, like he's got the suit, so he's got like his like Lila, like his like personal assistant, like his digital assistant is like constantly like showing up. And then yeah, and then like outside of the Spider-Man stuff, like just like there's like great stuff with like Miles's parents. Like they have some like really great like scenes with like him and them, and like, I mean just them themselves like talking about Miles, and Miles and Gwen have some like great scenes together. Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, definitely, if you have not seen it, see it as soon as you can. Hopefully we can like dig into it like fully if you see it soon, Chris.
Hopefully.
That,
I didn't
yeah,
want to see it the first week in my area because it was gonna be swarmed with like teens.
yeah, yeah. If you see it, then we'll talk about all the crazy like background characters show up. But yeah, so I saw that. I also saw Creed 3 finally. I got that from Netflix, but I think it's if you're hearing this, it's on Prime Video right now too. So, um, but I thought I thought it was solid, another solid entry in the Creed franchise. Like all three of those movies have been like really good, like boxing Rocky continuers, and definitely outside alleged crimes aside, like Jonathan Majors is like really fantastic in it. They do a really interesting thing where like when he first shows up in the movie, he plays Damian Anderson, Dame, who's like he and Adonis like were in like a group home together when they were kids, and then he got arrested and like was basically like it's just released from prison at the start of like Creed 3. But he was like he was like a Golden Gloves champion. Like he was the one who wanted to like go pro and become a boxer. And then when he gets out, he's like, "Oh, hey, you gotta help me. Like, I want you to help me like become like a pro boxer now that I'm out of prison." But he's like, like Adonis is already retired because he's too old to box.
Oh, is he?
Damn. And then like Damien's older than him, so he's like, it's like kind of impossible. Like you can't. You're like too old to be like you can't like. You have to like start like work your way up to like be a pro boxer. You can't just like get in there at your age.
Walk right in and be like, time to fight the champ.
Yeah. But then kind of like circumstances like work themselves out that like does happen. They kind of do like they definitely do like it's like a kind of like a twist like the Rocky story where it's like Damien is like he's like the underdog, like he's like, you know, I just out of prison, like he wants to like get this dream that he had back, and then he gets a shot at the champion thanks to like Adonis. But then there's like a twist where it's like he like was like kind of like he was like playing him the entire time, and like he has like nefarious intentions now, and like he like kind of like blames Adonis for like you basically stole my life, like I should have had life you had, so now I'm gonna like I'm gonna like take everything you had.
Wait. So, but the thing is, like, how would Adonis then try to take that? Because unless he like discredit him, goes like, actually all the fights were CGI, and like, you know, like it's hard to prove that from a guy who just got out of prison with like who's got like a master evil plan.
Yeah.
Well, I know he probably calls him out to say, hey, like, come fight me. Like that's the evil boxing thing.
He kind of has like one kind of like nefarious plan move that like gets him into like position to like fight the champion. But then eventually, obviously, it's like a Creed Rocky movie. So like he and Adonis have to fight to like settle things once and for all.
Yeah.
So and then yeah,
is he also a son of Apollo Creed too, like a secret brother?
No, he has no ties to any like past Rocky characters.
I would have lost the shit if it was like, oh, he's actually the son of like
Mr. T.
Yeah. That would have been a fun twist.
But yeah, it's got all the stuff you expect from like, you know, Rocky / Creed. Like it's got like a really awesome training montage, and I like Michael B. Jordan does a really good job because he directed it too. So like he does a really good job with the fights in this movie. He adds some like new like flourishes like the fights. Like he does kind of like Zack Snyder like super slow mo at times, where like someone gets punched in the face and you just see like their like skin just like ripple and like you know, like the sweat just like fly off of them. And he also does like this like really interesting thing like for like the final fight where like the ring kind of like turns into like different like it's sort of like playing on like their history together of like, so it turns into like it turns like a prison, and then like turns into like the group home they were in, and like so it's like the boxing ring kind of transforms around them. So it's like they're fighting like that's like get like pushed into the rings, the ropes, but then like the ropes turn into like jail cells.
Oh.
So like
some
visually, so like interesting visual things you'd never seen before in like a Rocky / Creed fight. That's pretty cool. So yeah, I would say if you've enjoyed like the other Creed movies, I'd say definitely check out Creed 3. It's like very solid. Like definitely will have like all the stuff you're looking for in there.
I'm probably gonna do a rewatch of 1 and 2 to get to 3.
I think so. If you're hearing this, Prime Creed 3 like literally just came out Prime today. If you're hearing this, or like this weekend, and then I think 1 and 2 are also on Prime Video now because they're like MGM. So like obviously Amazon owns MGM. So. And then the last thing I watched is I finally saw Operation Fortune: Ruse de Guerre, the Guy Ritchie Jason Statham movie that came out earlier this year to like pretty much no fanfare. Like it was like in theaters for like a week or two and then like disappeared. And it's fine. A little disappointing. I kind of was like expecting like this like kind of like Man from U.N.C.L.E. style, like like super stylish like kind of spy action movie. Um, it definitely does not have the style of like a Man from U.N.C.L.E. And it's also like it's trying to be a comedy, but I found it more like amusing than like laugh out loud funny. Like it was like I didn't like really like laugh a lot. It's a lot of jokes. I was just like sort of like, that's funny, I guess, or like a like a sensible chuckle at times without like I didn't find anything just like, oh man, that's hilarious. Which I think it's trying to go for that, and it didn't really work for me on that level. But um yeah, but basically like so Jason Statham is this like super spy that gets hired by the British government, named Orson Fortune, and then he gets hired by Carrie Elways, who's kind of like his like manager or like his like like the like handler, and then Carrie Elways kind of gets like Jason Statham like a new team because like his team got like poached by like, this other like mercenary team. So then he brings in Aubrey Plaza, who's like the like computer expert, and then Bugsy Malone, who is like basically like it's weird because like he basically doesn't do anything. He's just sort of like a sidekick to Jason Statham and be like, oh man, Jason Statham, you're so cool. Like I'm just here to support you, man. Like
He's like the guy from Beauty and the Beast. He's the like the Gaston hype man.
Kinda, yeah. The only thing he really does is like toward the end, like he like reveals that he's like a pretty good sniper. But like for the rest of the movie, he just doesn't like. Jason Statham's just like, just hang out, man. Just watch, do surveillance. Like I'll handle most of the stuff. And he's just like, sure, man, whatever. Like, so that's kind of weird. Like it's just like such a like you could like rate him out of the movie completely. And it would have like not affected anything. And then they're after Hugh Grant, who is this like billionaire arms dealer who has this new he's selling this device called the Handle that they kind of do like a Mission Impossible 3 thing on, where they sort of explain it toward the end, but like for most of the movie they're just like they never explain what it is, or like they don't know what it is. They just know it's like some sort of device that like is worth like billions, and they have to get it back for the British government. So Hugh Grant is brokering this deal to like sell it to like terrorists or whoever wants to buy this, and they have to like infiltrate and steal the Handle back, and then they kind of use they figure out they can like use Josh Hartnett, who's like this like Hollywood action star, Danny Francesco, because Hugh Grant loves him. It's like he's like his favorite actor, so they like blackmail him, Danny Francesco, to like help them on their mission to like Aubrey Plaza goes undercover as like his like Danny Francesco's like girlfriend, and then they like are able to like get like invited to like Hugh Grant's like Turkish manor and like get more info and like try to get the info on where everything is. So it's kind of more of like you think it would be like a like a James Bond or like a Kingsman style movie. It's kind of more of like a like Ocean's like con artist movie where they're like
really?
It's more of like them like like more like undercover stuff, and then like every once in a while like Jason Statham like punch a guy in the face or like fight a guy, but it's like there's not like there's not a lot of action to like the end. Like the end is like where they like kind of save all the action because there's like two big action sequences toward the end, but like for like 2/3 of the movie, it's sort of like more of this like, more of like a heisty kind of con artisty kind of movie.
Yeah, from the trailers, they really didn't show a lot about the plot, and I guess because of this.
Yeah, I was surprised by like how little. I thought there was gonna be like more action. Like it's like they sprinkle in like a Jason Statham like 1-on-1 fight with like random guys like every once in a while for like the first 2/3, and then like the end they're like oh yeah, we should probably have like a this was like
we should probably explain things.
we did sell this as like a kind of a big like spy action espionage movie, so we should have like a big like action sequence. And then yeah, like I said, like the comedy is sort of like a little bit flat for me. I mean, your mileage may vary, but like I was just sort of like this like, and like some of them like Hugh Grant is trying, like he's doing his like like what he does like recently, which is like just be like a charming but like kind of like smarmy like like villain. And then like Aubrey Plaza is definitely trying to do some stuff at certain points, like trying to like inject something into it. Like there's like one of the jokes is like Jason Statham is like breaking into like this like Russian mobster's house, and then like Aubrey Plaza is on like the radio with him, like you know, like doing like the guy in the chair stuff, like telling him where like people are and like turning off the like surveillance system and stuff. But she's doing it like she's like making all these like sexual innuendos on him, like you bet like finger that lock and like blow that lock open and then reach in and fondle the bills like.
Wow. That's funny. I just gotta see the context.
Yeah. So I mean, every once in a while there's like something pops, but like yeah, for the most part I was just like, kind of like, it definitely was not like a, you know, like it wasn't Spy or something, or like even like Kingsman is like funnier than than this. It's also like not the best Guy Ritchie movie this year. I think like The Covenant is a better Guy Ritchie movie. But I mean, if this shows up on like, yeah, I don't think it's streaming anywhere like yet. But if it shows up like on like HBO Max or like Prime Video or something, I would say check it out. But like you definitely don't need to seek it out specifically to watch it. But if you're scrolling through like a streaming service and it shows up, I'd say like check it out. I definitely like I'm not sure how it's gonna stack up for the rest of Jason Statham's movies. So we're getting like I mean we got 2 more coming. We have Expend4bles 4 and the Meg 2. I have a feeling the Meg 2 is gonna be the best Statham movie this year, possibly. depending on how Expend4bles 4 is. Which
right.
I mean obviously we talked about earlier, but like that looks that trailer was not like a little bit questionable, but
there's a lot more Megan Fox than I thought there would be.
And also, like, I don't think Fast X counts anymore for Statham movie because he's in like one scene, so it's more of a cameo for Fast X. That does not like contribute to like his like, you know, 2023 filmography. But yeah, definitely a little disappointing. But overall, like, perfectly fine if you stumble across it on like eventually at some point. I definitely would say like watch Man from U.N.C.L.E. instead of this if you have the if you're like for like a Guy Ritchie like kind of like spy action comedy kind of movie. Like Man from U.N.C.L.E. is like better at pretty much every level.
Yeah, I'm like, again, like Man for U.N.C.L.E., I had low expectations, but I was blown away how like great that movie was, and I really do wish they did this follow up.
Yeah, I mean, you obviously have to recast it for one of the roles
for obvious reasons.
Yeah, you need to get a like non-alleged cannibal in there, but
just gotta get an actor who basically has always been like a good guy and just make that a franchise. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's pretty much what I've been watching this week, so we can wrap things up. Definitely head over to the site. I have a review, or like a written review of Across the Spider-Verse if you want to read that. We have all the trailers we talked about this week. We've got all of our regular features and news up there, so head over and check all that stuff out. And for Chris, I am Zach, and we will see you next week.
For more Everything Action, head to www.everythingaction.com. You can also follow us on Twitter @EVAction, on Facebook by searching for Everything Action, and follow us on Instagram @everything.action. You can also subscribe and get more episodes on Stitcher, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify.